Chapter 65:15. Charlie was not a stingy person, but he really felt sorry for the spiritual energy. Moreover, the spiritual energy he lost this time reached an unprecedented new height. All the spiritual energy in his body, plus the spiritual energy from the hand seals, plus the 5 cultivation pills, were all lost. This loss was more painful than losing $10 billion. Maria had never expected that after she fed Charlie 5 pills in a row, the spiritual energy would disappear without a trace. She couldn't help but exclaim, "Young master, this spiritual energy shouldn't disappear for no reason, right? Could it have been sucked away by the ring again?" Charlie shook his head and said dejectedly, "It really wasn't it this time. I wanted to guide all the spiritual energy into the ring. But the spiritual energy generated by the hand seal was not only beyond my control, but also seemed to have its own consciousness. It carried my original spiritual energy straight into my sea of consciousness, so that I lost control of my own spiritual energy. Then you kept feeding me pills, and it was as if it had consciousness. When it found new spiritual energy in its dantian, it turned around and made a comeback. It went in and out 5 times after feeding me 5 pills. I suspect it was feeding me from beginning to end. I set up a trap, gave me a little profit first, and then kept making promises to me. I thought my spiritual energy had doubled with its help, but in fact it was greedy for the whole me." After saying that, he thought of the 5 pills, covered his face and sighed. "This is equivalent to blowing up my account and causing me to chase 5 times the leverage. DMN it. Isn't it the dog dealer in the stock market who specializes in luring more and killing retail investors?" Maria murmured, It is just the spiritual energy cultivated by the young master with handprints. The spiritual energy cannot have self-awareness. How can it be so cunning?" Charlie shook his head and said, "I can't figure it out. It doesn't make sense at all." Maria asked, "Since the young master can be sure that the spiritual energy was not sucked away by the ring, could it be sucked away by something else? Others?" Charlie shook his head and said, "Besides the ring you gave me and the medicine cauldron I extorted from the head of Taijian Dao, I have basically not obtained any ready-made magic tools from other channels. But this time it's not a ring, and it can't be a medicine cauldron." Maria asked in confusion, "But such a huge amount of spiritual energy. Even the young master's body may not be able to carry it. Why did these spiritual energies disappear without a trace after reaching the sea of consciousness? I have been by your side just now, and I didn't feel anything unusual. Logically, the spiritual energy in your body should not have taken the opportunity to escape from your body. But it disappeared for no reason, which is really too weird." "Yes." Charlie sat up straight with difficulty and cursed in frustration. "This is like a person eating several times his own weight in one meal. It sounds incredible, but when the spiritual energy reaches the sea of consciousness, it really disappears without a trace." Maria said again, "Master, have you ever thought about why when you and I stood under the northern lights, the aurora would transform into that set of handprints? Could it be that the other party has been setting a trap for you since then?" Charlie asked, "You mean, someone deliberately asked the aurora to teach me the handprints to lure me into it? Just to cheat me of all my spiritual energy?" Maria nodded, and said, "Master, let me reason with you. If this is a trap from beginning to end, then the initiator of the trap is either a person or an object." Maria said, "The possibility of it being a person is very small. Even if there were masters hiding near the aurora that day, it is unlikely that they would follow us all the way across the ocean, follow us to Aurus Hill, and follow us into the basement of this villa. Unless it is a supernatural thing like a ghost. But this is unconfirmed and unlikely." Charlie agreed and said, "It is indeed unlikely to be a person or a ghost. If it is a person, then he must at least master the invisibility technique in fantasy novels. Otherwise it is impossible to follow us step by step without being discovered by us. As for ghosts, this is even more unreliable. There is no evidence to prove the existence of ghosts. Besides, even if there are ghosts, ghosts cannot absorb spiritual energy.